yourself how refreshing and easy to use Navage is. At Navage.com, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Bed Bath, and Target. Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
The actor.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen. Happy Easter. Your local weather expert forecast from WWL TV. Michelle Morgan for this Easter Sunday.
Mostly sunny conditions if you're heading out to any parades. It will turn breezy through the afternoon hours with highs climbing into the upper 80s today. There's a chance for scattered showers and storms really as we head into the evening hours and later on tonight, and a few of those thunderstorms may become strong to even severe.
The New Orleans Pelicans are in the playoffs tonight, taking on the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. These local basketball fans shooting hoops around New Orleans are glad to see the sport making a comeback locally.
Me personally, I feel like basketball, New Orleans is a basketball city. I mean, if you come out here and just see right now, every single day here at Napoleon and Magazine, we're playing basketball, you know. We love the sport. It's in our blood.
More coming up in WWL Sports.
They got you.
Chris Owens will be honored today as her annual Easter parade returns to the French Quarter. WWL TV's Sharice Gibson previewed the fun.
Now, this is the 37th year of the parade. As one of her last wishes, she wanted the parade to go on. The parade will include a tribute to the Queen of Bourbon Street.
WWL TV's Eric Paulson tells us there's another parade this evening.
The 21st Annual Gay Easter Parade starts at 5:30 this afternoon near the corner of Bourbon and Dumaine. The parade showcases the fashion and creativity of the entire LGBTQ community. It's expected to last until 7 o'clock tonight.
Now, here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
The playoff Pelicans look to block out the Suns' chances of another NBA Finals appearance. The Pels hope to keep the rally going in the Valley as they open their series tonight in Phoenix. CJ McCollum says the team is fully embracing the underdog role.
I think, for a lot of guys, it's their first time playing in the playoffs, so a lot to prove, a lot to display, a lot to prove to themselves as well. And then for us, it's, being an underdog. Obviously, we're not being picked to win this series, probably not being picked to win a game or any game. So we just got to go out and be ready to play and really, take pride in what we're trying to accomplish.
Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. Arkansas sweeps LSU in Fayetteville. The Razorbacks' bats remain sharp in Game 3, outscoring the Tigers 6-2. The Hogs took the lead in the bottom of the fifth and never gave it back.
Bases loaded in a 1-1 game. Taylor fires right back above his glove. Doty dives for it, can't get to it. Battles will score. Snowball will score. Into third goes Gregory. And a bouncer up the middle gets by Taylor, gets by Doty over the second base bag, and Arkansas takes the lead.
Next up are the Raging Cajuns Tuesday night at Alex Box. Hear it here on WWL Radio. Pre-game coverage is at 6. First pitch at 6:30. And history made at the Crescent City Classic. Ben True becomes the first American to win the race in nearly 40 years with an official time of 28 minutes and 15 seconds. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
Michelle Morgan with your local weather expert forecast from WWL TV.
Mild and very humid across southeast Louisiana and southern Mississippi, starting off with some cloud cover, but the clouds will begin to clear on out, leaving us with mostly sunny conditions.
Okay, here we go.
Easter plans today, the weather should be great. It will be warm and also muggy with highs climbing into the upper 80s this afternoon. Tonight we do have the chance for scattered showers and storms, and a few of those thunderstorms becoming strong to even severe. So just make sure you are weather aware later on this evening, lasting into tonight. Now, as we kick off our work week, looking very nice, starting off with some clouds, becoming sunny as we head into the afternoon. It will be breezy, and temperatures knocked down just a bit, climbing into the upper 70s. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakwinard Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, good morning. Doug Sunseri. Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All Things Legal. We have a special Easter edition of All Things Legal, and we're going to keep it light. Thank you for Michelle for responding to my elbow this morning. And
Thank you for having me.
And so we'll have fun. I don't think everybody on Easter morning wants me to read from the Civil Code.
I wouldn't think so.
They probably never do. But so we'll talk law, but we'll talk about other things too. Just to have fun. But you give us a call 260-1870 or text us at the Oakland Heart Talk and Text line. So and it's a happy. Easter's the big day.
It is a big day.
You got Christmas and Easter. Seems like birth everybody does, but not everybody rises from the dead.
That's right.
There's only one who did that one.
That's right.
That's a biggie.
It is a biggie.
So happy Easter.
Happy Resurrection Day.
Happy Resurrection Day. And first thing, how are you feeling? We ran the Crescent City Classic yesterday.
I'm good.
I'm
good.
Are you? I saw you had the Theragun.
I did.
And you were.
Yeah, my legs were a little tight, but I'm good. It was just a long day. The race wasn't. I mean, the race was good, and then we kept going and wound up in Mississippi and didn't get home until 9 o'clock at night.
We did. We went to a wedding after Mississippi after the race, so
it was just
we didn't have much to do yesterday.
That's right.
But I did hear this. The first American in 40 years won the Crescent City Classic.
Really?
And the other thing I figured out, I was only 45 minutes behind from winning.
There you go. But, it was nice to see everybody out.
It's great.
I mean, it was the first race since, COVID shut it down. We had run the year it closed, and so it was fun.
The
weather was nice. It got hot. It was hotter than I anticipated.
Right, it was a lot
towards the end.
It was a lot hotter. Now, one of the things my little thing for the Crescent City Classic, what I do is every police officer I see, I go over to them, thank them, say I appreciate what you do.
Well, that's why it took you so long.
I don't think that slowed me up too much. I don't think it did.
There were a lot of policemen on the road.
I know. I understand. But you see, I do the Ed Ogeron old man jog.
Oh, okay.
If you ever seen the viral videos with his shirt off, sort of like that looks like
slow-mo?
Short of, I do wear my shirt. I understand
Thank
that
you.
Men over 40 should keep their shirt on all times.
At all times.
So, but besides that, I have that kind of run. So if somebody asks me the difference between me being 22 and running in the Crescent City Classic and me being 59, it's six minutes a mile.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yes,
But I wonder if New Orleans is the only race where when you're running, you can either grab, like at mile 3, water, an orange, or beer.
Right.
Because they were handing out all 3.
And a New Orleans race, more people pick beer than oranges and water.
No.
That's
the line for the beer afterwards is pretty long.
No, even during the race.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
I saw Tommy Santanovich for Dragos on the corner of South Claiborne and Esplanade. And Dragos doesn't even bother to give out water. It's all beer. So Tommy's like, come on. I said, I can't do that. I'm on mile 2.
Yeah, it was a little early in the race to be chugging beer.
So, but not for some.
No, I know.
So
it was fun.
It's a beautiful city. I mean, when you run, you start at Poydras and then you go down the French Quarter, which is just beautiful. Because I'm thinking, if you're from out of town and you come to the city, it's really something.
Yeah, it is.
Then you go down Esplanade. It's a beautiful.
It is.
It's a beautiful route. And again, I think the police officers do such a wonderful job at Mardi Gras, and
there were a lot of people too on Esplanade.
Sure,
with their lawn chairs and their signs
and their morning cocktail. But and they do a wonderful job, and I just get so frustrated that they don't get the support they need by especially from the mayor, who hides under a desk when it comes to crime. I wish he'd get out from inside of under her desk and address it directly and give these police officers some support. Because the first function of government, which we even learn in first grade civics or first grammar school civics, is safety. Right. Providing safety for your community. If you do nothing else, that's what you're supposed to do.
And I think wasn't that the first officials, like when the U.S. was being formed, was that they elected sheriffs or somebody to keep the order, to keep the peace for
order.
Safety.
You have nothing with order, and And the only reason I say this is hopefully we can shame her into action.
I don't think it's going to happen.
I know. Maybe not. Maybe so. Or she ought to just get out the way. Get out the way and let somebody else, keep it safe. Because it's such a great community. And everybody, it's not a political issue. It's a values issue. Everybody values. It doesn't matter if you're Democrat, Republican, or Independent. It's a values issue. Right. And to neglect that responsibility is just horrifying. And I know I talked to Councilman Giarrusso, and they want to do something.
Their hands are tied.
And so get out from under that desk, hiding, and do something about it. But we have a beautiful city, and it was a great event, and we just very, very enjoyable. So I just got to cut off 45 minutes next year if I start training now.
Start training now.
I can make them run.
Well, and I think next year it's going to be. I think it's probably be cooler because they're going to in Easter earlier next year.
Yes, it's a little earlier.
Yeah.
Now this year it was unfair for me because I was in the 50 to 59 category, so I was like the old one in my category.
So you're going to be the baby in the next category.
Next year I'll be in the 60s. I'll be ready.
You'll be ready.
I'll get like another medal. Everybody got a medal.
Everybody got a medal.
Everybody's asking, you got a medal? I said, everybody gets a trophy. Everybody gets a trophy. But it was a great event. And, we were talking about this also. Our account rep, very good friend, Emil Goche, he owned the Crescent City Classic for a while. Before he's account rep at WWL and came up with the concept of the show 15 years ago. And he was one of the owners, and he's left a great legacy. And I think Benson's and Caesars sort of teamed up. I think we saw a Caesars booth.
Well, the medal said Caesars.
Yeah, the medals, and they had a Caesars booth about every quarter of a mile. It seemed like they were everywhere.
For water?
For everything.
Oh.
Water. Do you see the guy with the white sheet and the little crown with leaves on it?
No.
They have a bunch of Caesars up and down.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Up and down the Esplanade.
I didn't see that.
So it was a great event. And next year, you 60-year-olds, you better watch out.
That's funny. Start training now, baby.
And we'll start training now. So it was a great event. And, okay, let me ask you this. As a kid, what was like one of your great Easter memories?
We always had crawfish. We always got together with family. I guess it depends on what age. As a younger child, we always went to church with our whole community. But and then when our kids were little, we did Easter egg hunts.
Yeah,
Easter was just a day for family.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had like a little summer place in Treasure Isle, which is in Slidell, and it's by the Wrigley's. But it wasn't very populated back then. Just had one little island, and everybody would go. Uncles and aunts, we'd all stay there for.
Did y'all get Easter baskets?
Yeah, we Easter eggs, and we would do Easter eggs, and you could go out to that little beach out front and all, and nice. Then we had two lots on the side, so we'd have a volleyball or a softball game, like a family volleyball and softball game. So it would be the Sunseris and the Duplaces. And
not competitive at all, right?
It was very competitive.
Facetious.
We had bloodied noses and people throwing volleyballs at each other. And no, they were very competitive. None of the Duplaces, really liked to lose. So it was good, and we had one of those great memories.
Good.
But it's it's you coming out of winter, it's summer. I think as a kid, Easter was the demarcation that school was almost finished.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, and, Easter break, spring break.
And I hated school. I mean, beyond hate. I dislike school. It's not that. Hate's a strong word, but I just don't like sitting down listening to someone else drone on like people are doing for me right now.
Yeah, I mean, you were in school a long time, and I think you despised
I didn't
from
like
kindergarten till
I didn't like
graduation
it in
from law
fourth grade.
school.
I did not like it in fourth grade. And it was just, on Sunday nights when I'd hear that 60 Minutes,
I think
would
everybody
get
has
sick to my
that.
stomach. And I said, I can't believe I got, and to sit in a seat for an hour to listen to someone. Now, if someone was exciting and taught well, I would, like at De La Salle, I had Brian Altabello, greatest history teacher. I just hung on every word he said. I had Mr. Greathouse, rest his soul. He was a great teacher. I had Mr. Stabler, who taught me actually. He taught me correct English. He got me out of Bucktown English. He got me, he got
He got you.
He got me out. He modified or refined me into more of a correct English. So, but he was very, very entertaining. He was very, very entertaining. But so that's our Easter memories. But we'll talk. I don't know what's a good law topic to talk about on Easter.
I don't know.
We'll coming up, and also too, Albert's not here today. He's having his own Easter party. If you're on Albert Street,
poor Albert.
There's a little traffic jam because the alcohol truck is still unloading. So
yeah, because Lent's over with. So those who gave up alcohol for Lent, it's
Albert's. He gives up alcohol, I think, for Lent between the hours of 8 in the morning and 10 in the morning on Tuesdays. That's his Lent. No, I'm just kidding. He never does that. Albert's fun. Albert's fun. He just knows he has a good time, just like we all do. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
Hey, it's Tommy Tucker, weekday morning.
Yeah, we do have a caller. His name is Charlie, and he is from the parish. He would like to talk about usufructs.
Plus, you'll find out what's happening right here in your own backyard, whether that's the East Bank, West Bank, St. Tammany, the parish, wherever. We talk to people who influence our communities, families, businesses, and, of course, our country. Wake up to conversations that matter.
Charlie just left.
On the station that is all about you.
All of a sudden, he was gone.
Get in on the first round action.
But if you want to talk about it anyway, I'm sure that you wouldn't mind.
Partner of the NBA. This week, new customers can bet $5 on any team to win and get $150 in free bets instantly. You win no matter what. All DraftKings Sportsbook customers can also bet on NBA hoops with same-game parlays. Combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. Plus, each day of the first round, get a risk-free bet up to $10 if your same-game parlay doesn't hit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook
Okay, last spot in the set is another one by our famous sponsor, Big Lou.
The first round of playoffs and get $150 in free bets instantly. That's code BIG870 at DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 and over, physically present in Louisiana. Availability varies by parish. Eligibility restrictions apply. Minimum $5 deposit. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for full terms and conditions. Licensee partner, Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-770-STOP. 7867.
Security is knowing that your payment was processed, your check deposited, your business handled. At Home Bank, we offer the technology you need to have peace of mind wherever you are. So go on. Roam, wander. You have the freedom. With Home Bank's mobile app and account notifications, you'll never have to wonder what's happening with your money. We have the tech you expect and the service you deserve. For over 114 years, we've been good for business, good for life. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Is your Hurricane Ida insurance company still playing games with you or giving you the runaround? Are you still dealing with multiple adjusters, unreturned phone calls, duplicate requests for information, and chronic underpayment, even non-payment? Are you emotionally exhausted? We can help. Call me, Doug Sunseri, longtime WWL radio host and attorney at Nico and Sunseri Law Firm in Metairie and Mandeville at 504-837-1304. After so many years of you paying insurance premiums, we'll make sure your insurance company pays up.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. Pests in Louisiana are as unique as our state, and you need experience to keep the pests away. Termites are responsible for more than $1 billion of damage in Louisiana alone. J&J Exterminating has over 55 years experience in keeping your home safe. Trust J&J Exterminating to shield your home, business, and property 365 days a year with 100% satisfaction guarantee.
J&J Exterminating.
Hey,
all, spring is here and you're ready to celebrate. Hit the road and find a festival. April 15th through 17th, Louisiana Loud New Year's celebration in New Iberia. April 15th and 16th, Corny Creek Great Outdoors Festival in Bernice. April 22nd and 23rd, Louisiana Forest Festival in Winfield. April 22nd through 24th, La Fête du Mont in Lockport. So make your plans to laissez les bon temps rouler.
This is Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser. Plan your road trip at LouisianaIsATrip.com.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
Now, more All Things Legal, underwritten by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We got a couple of texts before we get to our question that was called in. I want to wish everyone a very happy and blessed Easter from us at Stewart Life Coaching. That's Edna.
Okay.
Edna. She is she's a long-time listener, and we happy Easter to all of y'all. Also, this got a text from Bell Chase. Yes, but who's going to win the closest to the hole contest today? We're starting a new tradition.
We are.
We're going to get out there from 100 yards, and we're going to go back and see. We're going to take a wedge or non-iron, and whoever can get close to the hole wins $100.
Okay.
You can't have a great Easter without
a little bet.
Without a little bet,
gambling.
little gambling, a little side bet.
There you go.
Side bet. So I'm the favorite though.
You are?
Me and Polly and I.
Oh.
Polly and I.
And why do you think that?
I just think so. It's just the betting line. We're the favorites. Oh, I got to talk about your nephew too.
Oh, okay.
Nicholas. While we're on this.
That's what I'd say.
Because here's the deal. This is a family thing, but I think it's important enough we discuss on the radio.
Okay.
Nicholas is a baseball player at Bell Haven.
Right.
And good shortstop in his 4-year starter. Good player.
Mm-hmm.
But we watched some film of him, and the bat flip is something I don't like. It's like, spiking the ball and, going over, it's sort of like putting it in the coach's face when you hit a home run. You'll see a bat flip every once in a while when you have a walk-off home run or a walk-off, hit to win a game. You'll see the bat flip.
Okay.
And, I'm always of the opinion, the Earl Campbell school of scoring. If you score a touchdown, hit a home run, act like you've done it before.
I hear that all the time.
You hear every time you see somebody go over the top on scoring a touchdown. I sound like a grouchy old man.
Yeah, you were doing it a lot in the Arkansas game.
Yeah, that guy when they were playing yesterday, and he jumping around like he hit a home run in the last a walk off home. Bill Maserati, it seemed like it was like him. Hit a walk off home run.
You're over it.
I'm over it. So I'm watching Nicholas, nephew. He's playing. I don't know who they were playing.
I don't know who they were playing.
And he gets ball 4, and he does a bat flip.
He said he did it accidentally.
No, he did not. He did a bat flip. You do not do. It's like taking a football. It's like after a 2-yard gain on 2nd and 10, taking a ball, spiking it, and like doing a dance. for 2 yards. I mean, you do not do a bat flip.
That poor boy is not going to walk in the front door.
You do not do a bat flip for a walk. He's watching too much TV. So we're going to have a little talk about that. No bat flips for walks in this house.
Okay.
There's no crying in baseball, and there's no bat flips for walks.
Okay.
So that's
got Leon in the North Shore.
That's a legal issue.
Thank you, Leon.
Got Leon.
Praise God.
All right. Hey, Leon, from God's country, where there's no potholes, there's police protection, and there's safety. Hey, Leon, what you have for us, brother?
Hey, happy Easter this morning.
Happy Easter.
You and your wife and your family. Well, I bought a car. Okay. I went down to the dealership, okay, and filled out the paperwork on a brand new 2022. Because my wife wrecked my 2021. Totaled it out. Okay. Kept waiting, car never came in. Finally, they called me and told me it was stuck in Canada. So then it said they got another one. Okay. But I didn't know. They said I had to go down there and sign papers for them to hold it. So I got to go down there and sign the paperwork. And that one don't come in. Okay. It was supposed to be in on the 13th. It's not in. I need a vehicle. My wife's missing out on a lot of work. So I went down there to get the one he had on the lot, 2018. Okay. And then when they ran my credit and everything, which I didn't know they were doing that all this time. Every time I went down there and signed the papers, they were running my credit. This 2018 cost me as much as the 2022. Isn't that illegal?
Well, there's...
I mean, they should have told me they were going to run my credit.
I will say this generally. There's a statute called the Louisiana Unfair Trade Practice Act, which prohibits any unfair or deceptive trade practices. Now, in this case, due to the shortages with parts, shortages in shipping issues, and the things that we're dealing with in 2022, I don't know that it was intentionally deceptive, but I think your choices are, if you contracted for a car and they didn't deliver it, you should be able to get your money back. If you just, in other words, just give me my money back, and then I will, do an alternative arrangement with someone else. But is it illegal? I would say that implicit in that transaction, did they tell you when the car would be delivered?
Yeah.
And
neither one of the cars was delivered, but they ran my credit, which made my credit worse when I did get the one I got.
I don't know that that's enough. So you're concerned about them running your credit several times because of damages, right?
Yeah, because now I'm paying as much for 2018 as I was going to pay for 2021. 22.
Well, I don't think there's a.
I got the
I don't know that there's
exact
a law.
same note.
Right, I understand. But when they brought the 2018, you decided to go forward with that transaction. Is that correct?
Yeah, I decided to go forward with it.
Well, then I think you probably.
But
I don't know that.
By the time that was crunching the numbers, I was kind of freaked out. But
yeah, I hear you. Well, it started the reality of dealing in 2022. I think typically the Unfair Trade Practice Act came about when you'd have maybe a road car dealer advertising a car at one price, and when you came into the dealership, they gave you another price, or they didn't give you all the component costs. If you listen to a car commercial and you hear all that, and like disclaimers at the end for about 3 or 4 seconds, or for financing or additional costs, factory warranties, or whatever. They put that in there so they have truth in advertising. But
Leon, are you talking about them running your credit 3 times?
Yes, they did.
That's what he's talking
Okay,
about. He's
okay.
talking about the fact that they ran his
I
credit.
don't,
When they hit the credit, it caused his credit score to decrease. Therefore, he paid higher
Well,
percentage rate for the same car. So he was paying.
I,
I think that's what he's
I'm
talking
not.
about.
I don't think that that's necessarily against the law. What you could do is do a credit repair, or you can write the agent of TransUnion, and you could write them and explain to them what happened, and they may
Or get
adjust
the
your.
car dealership to run it,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
write to him.
And I think that should be adjusted. I don't know that that's actionable on its own.
Uh-huh. Okay, so who do I write this letter to?
Well, there's. I'm not an expert on this. I just know the concept generally. There's TransUnion,
right?
And there's what's the other one?
Equifax.
Equifax. You can write. There's a dispute resolution, or there's some type of resolution where you can write a letter explaining why you have that particular charge, and ask them to adjust it accordingly. And you could tell them that they ran your credit 3 times because they did not have the inventory to deliver the product that you purchased. Therefore, each time you had to do an alternative transaction due to the non-delivery, then you had to run your credit check again. If you write a letter to them, they should address that. It takes a little time, it takes a little research, but you could Google it and for each of them, and they'll tell you how to do that.
You might even get some paperwork from the dealership that shows
There
how
you
many
go.
how many times they ran it.
So,
Right.
all right,
I can
Leo.
go down there and do that.
All right, Leo,
All right,
man. Happy Easter to you, my man.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank y'all.
Okay, let's
Have
go.
a blessed day.
You as well.
Amen. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
It's been a week.
The use of ghost guns.
It's no longer a ghost. It has a return address.
Tracking multiple people on the subway.
Frank James in Brooklyn. Twitter.
Elon Musk coming in.
Wants to buy it. Get more aid. The Ukrainians are still fighting for it.
And it all happened here.
Russian incompetence.
Resort to tactical nuclear weapons.
Stay with us throughout the weekend.
Highest inflation since 1982.
And as the new week begins.
Take the border to them in Washington, D.C.
WWL, the News Talk Sports leader.
Mike Detillier here for BetMGM. There's never been a better time to find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Download the BetMGM app and place a $10 money line wager on any NBA playoff game. If either team hits a three-pointer in the game, you'll win $200 in free bets. Just use the bonus code MikeD200 when you make your first bet. Sign up now and discover BetMGM's daily promotions, boosted odds specials, and more. Download the app or go to BetMGM.com and use the bonus code MikeD200 to win $200 if either team hits a 3 in any NBA playoff game. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions.
21 years of age or older to wager. Louisiana only. New customer offer. All promotions are subject to qualification and eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as non-withdrawable free bets or site credit. Free bets expire 7 days from issuance. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700 in partnership with Samstown Shreveport Casino.
Jerry and Larry's
Okay,
Auto
we're
Shop.
going to
You get a
have
small business
a
loan
humorous
fast, but
commercial
instead of going to
after
On Deck
Babel.
Larry,
That will
call
signal we're coming back.
Really, bro? There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to OnDeck.com. Then, if approved, get your loan as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck. Depending on certain loan attributes, your business loan may be issued by OnDeck or Celtic Bank, a Utah Chartered Industrial Bank member FDIC. Limited eligibility for same-day funding. OnDeck does not lend in every state. All loans subject to lender approval.
Veterans, whatever you're going through, don't wait. Reach out. Find resources at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach. Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Brandon Hawley here. Premium Windows. Professionally measured, professionally installed. ReliefWindows.com.
Where do you go when you want to sell a diamond?
CausewayCoinCo.com.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel. Me llamo Sean.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language.
Okay, I have Wayne from Baton Rouge, who has had problems with a lawyer, and he would like your opinion.
Designed by real language teachers. so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Some people bring joy wherever they go.
Okay, we're going live after this.
Wherever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from passiton.com.
Keep that down
All
front.
things legal
Keep
with
the dump
Doug
front
Sunseri and
close.
Albert Nico on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oakland Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, all things legal. Let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Wayne. What you got for us, Wayne?
I'd like to get your opinion on a case that I had with Energy.
Yes, sir.
They wanted to run a high power line across my property. They wanted me to tear down half of my printing business, take a half acre of land, and only offered me $13,000. When I turned that down, they ended up suing me. My lawyer during deposition, when he showed up, was reading a newspaper. Never showed up. This was a jury trial. Never showed up until after the jury was picked.
Wait. Who? They picked the jury without your attorney?
Yes, sir.
Wait. Was this somebody you hired?
Yes, ma'am. When I first got news from Energy that I went to a lawyer and he wanted $25,000 just to hold the case or whatever, retainer.
Retainer, yeah.
And this guy told me that he would do it for $2,000. It was an easy open and shut case. And of course, me being a common layman, I went with that. So anyway, about a week before the trial, he called me and said we needed to show up at the courthouse. And I'm like, yeah, maybe Energy is going to settle this thing. We don't have to go to court. Well, when I show up in the courtroom, it was real short. The judge says, look, I don't have the heart to tell these defendants that they can't testify in their own trial. And I'm like, what?
Wait.
Something doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't know a judge who would ever pick a jury without the attorney.
No.
I mean, I would. That would never. I don't see that. How?
Listen, I went and got the transition from the court. I tried to file an appeal. The strange thing is that they ran the high power line over my property, made me tear my shop down, and my neighbor has a building the same size that's still sitting under the power line.
Well,
and that's when I tried to appeal it, and they threw it out, said I didn't have enough evidence.
Well, probably it's very hard for lawyers to appeal a case, and I'm sure it's very, very difficult for someone who's hadn't been a lawyer to appeal a case. There's a lot of rules, regulations. I mean, you even have to do your appeal brief with certain margins and a lot of technicalities. Now, you had an expropriation proceeding, right?
Yes, sir. Sir.
So what you would need to do in those cases is they're having those going on right now in Fat City, like in Jefferson Parish and Fat City right now. What you're going to have to do is show the value of the taking by the government, plus all the associated expenses that you have, and also any expenses to address, any relocation or how you have to do things differently.
When was the judgment rendered?
This was a couple years ago.
Oh, well, your appeal times are gone.
Yeah, your appeal times are gone. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we did appeal. I paid another attorney for an appeal, and the judge threw it out, said we didn't have enough evidence or whatever. But
your judge would have went to the First Circuit Court of Appeals in Baton Rouge. It wouldn't have been the judge. It would have been 3 judges.
No, it was the same judge in Baton.
It was for new trial. He did a motion for new trial.
Yeah. It's hard for us to comment, especially since we'd have to read the transcript.
In the record,
In
because
the record,
it sounds like there was not an appeal. If you lost your motion for a new trial, then that's when your time delays for an appeal would have run, and then that's when you would appeal to the First Circuit.
And that's the problem. I'm just a common layman, so I don't know all these rules and everything. But I was just my deal is there any replication that I can take back against the attorney itself?
Well, I mean, there is a Louisiana Bar Association. You could file a complaint.
All right, let me tell you what the final judgment was. The judge sat up there and told me that they was going to crush my building up and put it in a dumpster and haul it off and charge me for that if I didn't tear it down. So I had to tear down half of my building.
Well, was it
give up a half acre of land?
Was it a code violation or an expropriation? A taking?
Expropriation.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Well,
they came into.
They can do. The government can take your property for a public purpose.
Sure.
They just have to compensate you accordingly for the value of the land and the associated expenses for taking it.
Okay. Well, here was the final judgment. They made me tear down half my shop. They took a half acre of my land. They gave me $1,300 for the property and gave me an $8,500 court cost bill. And that was it. That was the judgment.
Well, I think what they do is they at the beginning of the process, they tender a check as to what they think they need to pay. And then if you contest that and lose, you would be responsible for the court cost.
Okay. Well, here's the deal. I had appraisal done on the property, which was valued at $21,000. I had an appraisal done on the building, which was $92,000. Okay, that was just for the property and the building. So what I'm under the impression is that my lawyer took my offer that I turned down and I got railroaded.
Mm-hmm. I can't.
Again, it's hard for us to comment because we haven't seen the record.
Okay. Is there anything I can do about it?
Well, there's a Louisiana State Bar that if you feel like your attorney has not represented you, as they should have, you can file a complaint. You have a
I went to the bar.
You have a 3-year preemptive period to file any kind of malpractice claim against an attorney.
Oh my God, he's no longer an attorney.
Pardon me?
He's not an attorney.
He is no longer an attorney.
Well,
I went to the Bar Association.
Yeah.
Nobody ever told me about it being able to get this thing righted.
Malpractice claims they're kind of difficult, but you have to file within 3 years of the date you knew or should have known.
It's 1 year, actually.
But it's a preemptive of 3.
But 1 year.
1 year.
1 year.
But no longer than 3.
Right. All right, my man. Well, I'm sorry about your plight. It's hard for us to comment. I understand your frustration. I understand that you hired someone who didn't do the type of job you wanted to be done. Sounded like you had severe communication problems. You also had a practical problem. You're taking on Entergy, which is a multi-million-dollar company, and you're living every week to week. I get all that, and they wanted to take your building. And look, in these expropriation proceedings, they're not pretty. Mm-hmm. They're not pretty. I mean, you're taking away people's houses and businesses, and it's never a good end.
I think what I learned while we got everybody online is that when the expropriation happens, they'll value your property, but then they'll also figure in all the expenses for you to find out what your property is actually valued at, and that's what they try to give you. You know, they try to take all your expenses off of it rather than giving you actually what it's for.
Well, I think part of it is you didn't have a person who could properly present your claim and present all the expenses, and that's when you present a claim, you got rules. You got rules of evidence. It's not easy. It's very.
The last thing the judge told me was pick your lawyers wisely.
Right, because $2,000 to do it all, you can't try a case. You can't even get ready. You can't even do a deposition for $2,000.
It's just like if somebody sell you a Cadillac for $2,000, you can bet that Cadillac has got something wrong with it. So,
well, like I said, a common layman that don't know any better
I
anyway.
get it. It's look.
All right, man. Thank you. I sure appreciate you taking my call.
Okay, your judge probably gave you the best advice.
Right.
Pick your lawyer
Yes, sir, he did.
wisely. So, all right,
Thank you, sir.
all right, my man Wayne. I'm so sorry that happened to you. Let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
Find podcasts for your passions on Odyssey.
Like the documentary series Love Thy Neighbor about the 1991 Crown Heights riots.
Okay, we got Big Lou, who is on wife number 2.
To murder one member of our community.
Or The 11th.
Bringing you true, unexpected stories.
And experience the new podcast movie thriller Ghost Rider.
Starring Kate Mara and Adam Scott.
Maybe it's not a whodunit. If we know who the killer is all along, the real mystery is why.
Find all the podcasts that matter to you in a universe of audio.
Odyssey. Remember the slogan, "There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart"? Classic New Orleans commercial, right? But did you ever wonder what really goes into every box from Oakland Heart? We'll give you a hint. The jewelry itself is only part of it. With our team, customer service is an art too. Our experts make you feel like family. They answer all your questions.
Okay, we're going to have 8 minutes till the top of the hour, and
According to
the
an online
news.
review from Elizabeth, there's nothing Oakland Heart won't attempt to do for their customers. And then there's the fact that every piece of jewelry from Oakland Heart is of better quality, like no other, at every price point. Chances are your mother, maybe even your grandmother told you that. Oakland Heart provides an experience and service that is an art form in itself. Then in the hands of our award-winning designers and craftsmen, the real magic happens. Artistry, expertise, passion, exceptional service. That's what's inside every box from Oakland Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
Are you a business owner doing your own bookkeeping? Why? It makes no sense, literally. Focus on what you do well, like growing your business, and let Accounting Services Unlimited handle your bookkeeping. Hi, this is Thomas Fontes. Accounting Services Unlimited is insanely affordable and will come to you. Call for a free quote. Accounting Services Unlimited, 504-717-6253. That's 717-6253. Or visit us at asu-llc.com.
WWL celebrates our milestone 100-year anniversary in great company with other iconic New Orleans businesses like Metairie Bank, celebrating their 75th anniversary.
For 3/4 of a century, our passion at Metairie Bank has been to build relationships that make your dreams come true. This year, as we celebrate our 75th anniversary, we want you to know that we have and always will be the bank of personal service.
We connect with you. Metairie Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-568-2790. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-568-2790. That's 800-568-2790. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with, call Big Lou at 800-568-2790.
All things legal on WWL. Consult with Nico and Sunseri now on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line. 504-260-1870. And don't forget to rewind on the Odyssey app.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. Okay, we got to talk about Big Lou, who was just on.
I love the commercial.
Now, if Big Lou is on number 2, and he apparently has a trophy wife.
Okay.
Is it true that you were the attorney for Big Lou's first divorce with the original wife, who stayed home, let him, build his business, had all his kids, and then he left for his trophy wife, right?
That's right.
Did you like clean his clock? Did you wipe him out?
We wiped him out.
Because he's doing a lot of advertising now, so I guess he has to start all over again after
starting from scratch.
Starting from scratch after you got, for Mrs. Lou. And look, Mrs. Lou is very happy that
she's very happy.
She's very happy not to have Big Lou.
She's very happy.
He's just full of himself, and
She's like, good luck on number
two. And he doesn't like, Big Lou's, got new hair and, he's all kinds of plastic surgery to trying to keep up with the trophy wife, right?
That's right.
All kinds of other enhancements,
That's right.
too. And all those pills he's taking. The ones that come to the door anonymously.
There you go.
There's no label to it.
That's right.
All right, Big Lou, we wish you the best on Easter. And Mrs. Lou, we know
And
you're
Mrs.
a lot
Lou,
happier.
too.
So anyway, I just when you hear, I just think, it's just funny because I just can picture you tearing Big Lou apart,
Hey.
not tearing, not tearing apart. I mean, just cleaning his clock.
Cleaning his clock.
Yes. All right, we'll get off Big Lou. Oh, you were talking about this. We've been talking about hurricanes for the last 6 months, but you wanted to tell a little anecdote about power of attorneys and what they do and don't do.
Yeah, I was just talking. We were just talking in the break about how interesting it is that, and I guess it's because, well, as a prelude, you and I were talking about, the house you grow up in, you wind up hearing all these terms, and so I grew up in a house full of lawyers.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I wasn't, even before I went to law school, we just heard all this terminology. So I just assume everybody hears that terminology. Powers of attorney, estate work. My dad did estate work. He did, a myriad of things. And when I talk to clients or prospective clients and even older people, and the misunderstanding that they have of different areas of the law, just is always kind of, it's not shocking, but it kind of takes me back. Like I had a conversation with a woman the other day talking about a power of attorney between her mom and her dad. Her dad had died in 15, her mom had died at 18, and she thought that power of attorney was still a good piece of document that she could use to go transfer property. And I had to explain to her that, the power of attorney is just really a mandate that says your dad said your mom could act on his behalf. But once your dad dies, there's nobody to act on the behalf of.
The power of attorney dies too.
The power of attorney dies too. And she was having a really hard time wrapping her brain around that.
Well, we're coming across a lot of situations where parents are getting older and there's not a power of attorney in place, and then they start dealing with some dementia issues,
right.
and then they're sort of stuck on being able to sell houses or conduct transactions, and you end up considering doing an interdiction.
Yeah, that's a whole different topic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is power of attorneys are important, but they have a limit, but they're limited to while the person is living.
Correct. And I always tell people, if you want to see what the next step is, if they have a will, then that power of attorney, it dies. The executor takes over to administer their
Because I've had some people I asked this week, I said, call me about an estate. I said, who's the executor of the estate? And they said, I am, because I had power of attorney. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Those are two different documents. Right. The executor would be determined in the will itself.
Right.
So, but powers of attorneys are very, very, very important, especially as, maybe you have aging parents, that you'll be able to make decisions, conduct transactions. It's very difficult because I've heard this week a couple of times that, we're living longer,
mm-hmm.
but your mind still doesn't regenerate as you live long.
Right.
It degenerates to a certain extent. And, dealing with the tough decisions about when to take the car keys away from mom and dad, when to move them
right.
out their house into a place that's more accommodating to, the difficulties they're experiencing with memory and health. So it's quite and people are always saying, what can I do? What choices, what can I do? I'm saying, take it day by day. There's no magic, action you can take. It's, get a power of attorney, prepare for it, and then manage it best you can.
Yeah, and I always tell people, when you need it, when you absolutely need it and you don't have it, is when you can't get it. So for me, that's one of the most important documents when you're going to do planning is to do. And a lot of people put it off. Or,
it's unpleasant to think
about. It is unpleasant to think about.
And, it's not a fun thing to do. And, when people come, we try to make it the best experience as they can. And, there's a lot of wisdom to be drawn, because I like to ask people who, live life about a lot of things, about how they live their life, what they did, what things they did well, didn't do well, because they got a lot of wisdom.
Sure.
And it's very interesting to ask people about their lives who've been on Earth for 85, 90, 85, 90, 95 years, because they've seen a lot and they have a lot of wisdom.
Right.
And it's just. But power of attorneys are very, very important.
They are
doing that, and also for wills planning. It's unpleasant, but just go out and get it done. And
well, I find that people will do their last will and testament a lot faster than they'll do a living will.
Yeah, that's
living will seems to be the hardest thing for people to do.
Pull the plug.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's also too, usually sometimes we'll get a call, say, hey, I want to do my will. I don't hear from them, and all of a sudden 6 months later they're wanting to do it right away. I'm like, okay, they had a health scare.
Right. Or they're going out of town, or something
like that. All right. That's hour number one of All Things Legal. It's about to be in Canton. We're staying on to 10 o'clock today. And then after that, we just got to get ready for Easter.
That's right.
We got 20. But so we'll be here for another hour. You can stay tuned for national news and local news. Michelle, if anybody wants to call you in the North Shore, what's the number?
985-624-9697.
Yes, and we're 504-837-1304. Stay tuned for hour number two. We're going to national news, local news. We'll be back in about 10 minutes on All Things Legal. See you in 10.
The News Talk Sports Leader, WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey Station.
This is CBS News on the Hour, your home for original reporting.
I'm Vicki Barker in London, in Ukraine.
More and more people are fleeing their homes and they need help.
The UN says 5 million people have now fled the country. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has just told CNN his country is not willing to give up the eastern Donbas region to the Russian invaders.
It doesn't mean if they are able to capture Donbas, they won't come further towards Kyiv. That is why, for us, this battle is very important.
At the Vatican, Pope Francis has presided over his first public post-COVID Easter Mass and spoken out about the war in Ukraine.
In his Orbi et Orbi Easter message, the Pope called for peace to return in war-torn Ukraine and ended his message saying, "Peace is possible, peace is a duty, peace is everyone's primary responsibility."
CBS's Sabina Castelfranco in Rome. Happy Easter and Passover and Ramadan.
With the new Omicron subvariant causing yet another increase in COVID infections, but not hospitalizations, some health experts still worry about all those family gatherings this weekend.
However, if things go as we expect, the hospitals will remain quiet, and that's really what the power of the vaccines and the immunity force field is.
Dr. Peter Chin Hong at the University of California in San Francisco.
CBS's Tom Foti reporting. Police in Columbia, South Carolina have arrested a suspect in connection with the shooting at a local shopping mall that left 14 people injured yesterday. Police Chief Skip Holbrook.
We don't believe this was random. I think that's very important in situations like this. We believe that the individuals that were armed knew each other.
In the American West,
a wildfire burning in southern New Mexico has claimed 2 lives and destroyed more than 200 homes. 5,000 people have evacuated the mountain town of Ruidoso. David Bales is the incident commander.
So as we get more resources in, we're able to support more troops on the ground. We're able to secure that perimeter a little bit better. We should start seeing the containment come up.
Large uncontrolled wildfires are also burning in Colorado, Oklahoma, and Texas.
CBS's Jim Krasula reporting, while CBS's Peter King in Orlando warns folks on the East Coast.
FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell's message ahead of the Atlantic hurricane season.
People need to know what their risk is.
That means not just watching the wind, but the rain and storm surge, and understanding that the risks aren't just here in the south or along the coast.
Just because they're inland doesn't mean that they're immune from the impacts of a hurricane.
Britain's royals have attended Easter services without their increasingly frail matriarch, the Queen, raising new concerns about the 95-year-old's health. This is CBS News.
Get CBS News Radio on the Odyssey app. All the audio that matters to you is on Odyssey. News, music, sports, and podcasts. Download the Odyssey app today.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
WWL First News. I'm Dave Cohen. Happy Easter. Your local weather expert forecast from WWL TV. Michelle Morgan for this Easter Sunday.
Mostly sunny conditions if you're heading out to any parades. It will turn breezy through the afternoon hours with highs climbing into the upper 80s today. There's a chance for scattered showers and storms really as we head into the evening hours and later on tonight, and a few of those thunderstorms may become strong to even severe.
The New Orleans Pelicans are in the playoffs tonight, taking on the Phoenix Suns in Phoenix. These local basketball fans shooting hoops around New Orleans are glad to see the sport making a comeback locally.
Me personally, I feel like basketball, New Orleans is a basketball city. I mean, if you come out here and just see right now, every single day here at Napoleon and Magazine, we're playing basketball, you know. We love the sport. It's in our blood.
More coming up in WWL Sports. The late Chris Owens will be honored today as her annual Easter parade returns to the French Quarter. WWL TV's Sharice Gibson previewed the fun.
Now, this is the 37th year of the parade. As one of her last wishes, she wanted the parade to go on. The parade will include a tribute to the Queen of Bourbon Street.
WWL TV's Eric Paulson tells us there's another parade this evening.
The 21st annual Gay Easter Parade starts at 5:30 this afternoon near the corner of Bourbon and Dumaine. The parade showcases the fashion and creativity of the entire LGBTQ community. It's expected to last until 7 o'clock tonight.
Now, here's Sean Ross with WWL Sports.
The playoff Pelicans look to block out the Suns' chances of another NBA Finals appearance. The Pels hope to keep the rally going in the Valley as they open their series tonight in Phoenix. CJ McCollum says the team is fully embracing the underdog role.
I think, for a lot of guys, it's their first time playing in the playoffs, so.
Okay, we have Justin on the phone who wants to talk about power of attorney.
For us, it's, being an underdog. Obviously, we're not being picked to win this series, probably not being picked to win a game or any game. So we just got to go out and be ready to play and really, take pride in what we're trying to accomplish.
Tip-off is at 8 o'clock. Arkansas sweeps LSU in Fayetteville. The Razorbacks' bats remained sharp in Game 3, outscoring the Tigers 6-2. The Hogs took the lead in the bottom of the fifth and never gave it back.
Bases loaded in a 1-1 game. Taylor fires right back above his glove. Doty dives for it, can't get to it. Battles will score. Snowball will score. In the third goes Gregory. And a bouncer up the middle gets by Taylor, gets by Doty over the second base bag, and Arkansas takes the lead.
Next up are the Raging Cajuns Tuesday night at Alex Box. Hear it here on WWL Radio. Pre-game coverage is at 6. First pitch at 6:30. And history made at the Crescent City Classic. Ben True becomes the first American to win the race in nearly 40 years with an official time of 28 minutes and 15 seconds. Sean Ross, WWL Sports.
Michelle Morgan with your local weather expert forecast from WWL TV.
Mild and very humid across southeast Louisiana.
Okay, we got Justin on wants to talk about power of attorney.
Begin to clear on out, leaving us with mostly sunny conditions. So if you have any Easter plans today, the weather should be great. It will be warm and also muggy with highs climbing into the upper 80s this afternoon. Tonight we do have the chance for scattered showers and storms, and a few of those thunderstorms becoming strong to even severe. So just make sure you are weather aware later on this evening, lasting into tonight. Now, as we kick off our work week, looking very nice, starting off with some clouds, becoming sunny as we head into the afternoon. It will be breezy, and temperatures knocked down just a bit, climbing into the upper 70s. From your local weather expert forecast center, I'm WWL TV meteorologist Michelle Morgan.
And I'm Dave Cohen, WWL First News.
From WWL, the news, talk, sports powerhouse of the Gulf South, it's All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico. Underwritten by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. Join us on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870, or connect anytime, anywhere on the Odyssey app. Now, to our Jefferson Financial Federal Credit Union studios in the heart of New Orleans, here are attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri.
Hey, we're back for hour number 2. Doug Sunseri and Michelle Demarest Sunseri. All things legal on a special Easter edition. We have a happy and blessed Easter. And let's go to the phone lines. Let's go to our friend Justin, who may be calling for legal, or he may be calling for love advice. We'll see. Hey, Justin, what you have?
You're never going to live that down, Justin.
That's okay. I understand that. He can give me all the heck he wants. Anyway, good morning to you, Michelle and Doug, and happy Easter.
Thank you. Good morning to you as well.
I want to talk about my experience about powers of attorney and executor and trust and all that. Mm-hmm. I'll try to make it simple. And this involves my dad's death, Jack Marcel, and you know who I'm talking about, Doug. Anyway, I didn't know anything about the inheritance. I didn't care about it. I didn't know anything about the terms of an executor or power of attorney until his death, and his will is read to me. I had to sit in this room. I was very uncomfortable. And he's mentioning, trust, power of attorney, la, la, la. Well, the power of attorney went to my little sister. Mm-hmm. So my dad skipped over me. And I didn't care about it until I found out about it. I was really infuriated at first. But then I thought, my sister's good at math. She'll be fair. So I really didn't let it bother me anymore. But the executor is not the same person as the power of attorney person.
Right.
And I didn't know that.
Right, Michelle.
And what happened was everything went fair. Everything's fine. But I did not know anything about that. And my dad loved to talk about law all the time. But those things he never talked about. And I just took it as it was, and I got through it. There you go.
Yeah. Well, Michelle, you could talk about what's the difference between executor. You talked about that before.
Sure. So, a power of attorney is when somebody's alive. So your dad must have given his mandate or selected somebody to talk, to act on his behalf if he could no longer, manage his estate or his affairs. But once your dad died, then the person to administer the estate would be the executor or the executrix.
Yeah, and the executor they're supposed to carry out they're charged with a fiduciary duty of carrying out the instructions in the will.
Right, or if there's no will to carry out, to follow the law.
Follow the law as far as disposition of the property.
Well, my dad was smart enough. My dad was smart and intelligent enough to leave a will. So if he had not left the will, we'd been in a pain and a tangle right till today. But he was smart enough to believe that. But I did not know what executor was. And when I found out what it was, I worked with it, and the law worked on everybody's side. So everything turned out pretty good.
Because your dad left the instructions specific enough where things happen the way they're supposed to happen, the way he intended to happen. So if you have a good will, regardless of the family situation, there's a protocol, procedure, and requirements that the estate's going to be dispersed in a certain manner. And even though you might have, every family has its issues. I mean, everyone. So it precludes a lot of possible discord because the instructions are there. And it is what it is.
Well, I can tell you this, one more thing before I leave. Sure. My dad, Jack Marcel, knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing, and he did the right thing. So I'm proud of him very much.
Yes. And Justin, how's it going across the street with
she's alive and well. She's doing well, thank you. I keep an eye on her.
How's it going?
I haven't talked to her in a while.
Why don't you put in an anonymous note to say, please listen to All Things Legal on Sunday morning. You call in, and then we will.
You just want to keep this thing going, huh?
Well, I want Justin. I want Justin to be happy there. I want him to have a little companionship.
Well, Michelle, you have to understand, as I asked you, you're the first one I asked about this, a female perspective. And so if you guys keep ribbing me on it, I love that. I love it.
That's okay. Well, good. Well,
we wish you luck. Maybe you could just go put a little Easter basket across the street.
No, I
Thanks, darling.
continue to
Appreciate
take
it.
our
Y'all have a
garbage cans
wonderful
in.
Easter.
All right.
Yeah, right. All right. Take care, man. Bye.
All right. Happy Easter. Happy Easter. All right. So yeah, Justin, I think, saw the highlights. Typically, when you pick an administrator for your estate or an executor or executrix, they ask, you might have 3 or 4 kids, and they say, well, which one should I pick? Because they don't want to alienate one at the other. But probably, what's the advice you give when someone says, well, what child should I pick?
Well, I always ask, well, if there's more than one child, I ask what they do for a living. Because if you have one who's a banker or an attorney or somebody who would probably be better versed or better suited to, run an estate.
That's what I say. Whoever has the best business sense.
Sure.
And then,
but I never, sometimes they'll say, well, can we just do more than one? And I was like, more than one cancels each other out. You might as well have none.
It all goes back to football for me. Right. When you have a coach saying we have 2 quarterbacks, we have none. When Brian Kelly says we have 2 quarterbacks in spring, which is Miles Brennan and Javon.
You don't have one.
We don't have one. Jaden Daniel, they don't have one right now. No. So, but you need one for an executor because, like you said, they'll cancel each other out if they disagree. You're back in court, which you're trying to avoid by doing a will.
Well, and if your will's tight and you have, and it's clear, the executor, the executrix is really just the one who the attorney's really working through. They're not making decisions.
Who carries out the provisions.
The provisions.
And a lot of times you'll hear, if there's a lot of time things below the waterline in a family come up when parents pass, and it comes out, and they're suspicious of one sibling, may not may do something they're not supposed to, and I always tell them you do have to carry out the wishes. Mm-hmm. You can't deviate from it.
No, you can't.
So it's not like you get any discretion. You're the point person for executing what's inside the will.
Right.
So that's what the executor does. And also, like even for a trust, they call it a trustee.
Right.
The reason they call it a trustee is someone you can trust. So if someone has questionable moral turpitude, or I know Mr. Stabler taught me that.
Wow.
Yes.
You saw my face, huh?
Yeah, I do know some big words. Mr. Stabler is in his grave right now, cracking a smile. Anybody from De La Salle knows who Mr. Stabler is.
I'm just amazed you remember your teachers' names.
No, you know why? Because they had a big impact. I mean, they have
I don't think I can name one teacher from Dominican.
No, they had a. Well, they had.
It doesn't mean they didn't have an impact. They just don't have it.
I don't know. I guess guys. I don't want to say this but I'll say this for me, that I always liked someone who knew how to lead and knew how, it was very sure and knew how to lead, knew how to communicate. I was always enthralled with that. And really teach.
Right.
And, put their heart into it. And, that's, they're De La Salle and those wonderful teachers were, 40 years later, you're still talking about them. So it's a huge impact.
Sure.
But that's where I learned that big word. I didn't learn it on the corner of Rosa and West Esplanade at Lakeshore Playground.
You didn't?
No, but I did learn a lot of great things at Lakeshore, on when to bet the dog, when they're playing at home.
Where did you learn how to?
I learned how to.
Where did you learn how to read ration sheets?
That's Mr. Joe across the street, but I was reinforced at Lakeshore Playground.
Gotcha.
They were there. Coach Elmo. He occasionally took his head out of the racing forums and coached. So they did teach me a lot of wonderful things.
That's funny.
We always tell the story. I'm not going to say his name because I don't want to embarrass him at Lakeshore.
Okay.
When my dad and I were coaching.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to say his name because he's well known in Bucktown. Very well known. Institutional. He owns an institution in Bucktown. But we coach 13 and 14-year-olds.
It's in Bucktown?
Yeah. you listen sometime. I do not want to out them. But we were coaching 13 and 14-year-olds. And my dad and I were coaching at Lakeshore. And I think I was probably 17, 18. My dad was, he was in his 40s. And we see our pitcher warming up. And he's got cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve. He's 13 years old. So we did a little mound visit. And we said, here, give me the cigarettes. You can have them after the game. So that's Lakeshore Playground. It was a great place to grow up. Also, I wanted to talk about, let's see, we got a text. And of course, a lot of texts I get have nothing to do with law because they're a lot more comfortable about asking me Saints questions. Happy Easter. Do you think the Saints will draft a quarterback in the first round of the NFL draft? If yes, why? Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give a disclaimer to this. The Saints always have a plan, and we don't know what it is. Though they are a tight ship as far as what their draft strategy is, and they always surprise us. And Jeff Ireland is probably one of the people most singularly responsible for the Saints being successful in the last 4 or 5 years with his drafts. He does a fantastic job. He was tutored under Coach Parcells. I'll tell you an interesting story about Coach Parcells with the draft, but they have something in mind. So anything that I would say is purely speculation. And it's probably not what the Saints are going to do. But I think they go offensive tackle, wide receiver, and then in the second round, if there's one or two quarterbacks that fall, Sam Howell or Matt Corral, they'll pick them. And I think both of those quarterbacks will either be a great pick or out of the league in 3 years.
Where's Matt Corral?
He's at Ole Miss. And so he could be a Johnny Manziel. He could be a Baker Mayfield. He could be a Russell Wilson. Any one of those. But I think it'll happen quick. So that's what I think they're going to do. But it's probably not what the Saints are going to do because they got their own plan. And the other thing about the Saints is they're counting on getting a couple of draft picks when Sean Payton goes to coach somewhere else, and they'll get compensation for that. So that is that. But I'll tell you an interesting thing what Coach Parcells said about the draft as far as drafting. So we'll be right back after this brief timeout on all things legal and sometimes sports.
When you listen to Scoot, you're listening to Rock and Roll History.
Today in 1970 was on this day in 1998. I'll never forget the way I felt the morning.
Scoot's rock culture calendar has everything you remember and some things you don't. From legendary concert appearances to personal tragedies, he covers it all.
I remember playing this record on the air for the first time and knowing it was going to be a huge hit.
It's a perspective on the history of rock you can't get anywhere else from someone who's lived it.
Honestly, I'm lucky to be alive.
Scoot on the air, weekdays 1 to 4 on WWL.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel. Me llamo Sean.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible.
All right, I have two callers on the phone. We have Wes from Uptown, who has an insurance problem. We have Larry, who is a truck driver on the interstate, and he has a question about wills.
Even join live classes with a language teacher. If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Her words weren't written under peaceful shade, but under fear for her life.
I don't think of all the misery, but of the beauty that still remains.
The words of Anne Frank continue to fill us with hope. Hope. Pass it on from PassItOn.com.
Ever wonder what goes into every box from Oak One Heart? We'll give you a hint. The jewelry itself is only part of it. Artistry, expertise, passion, exceptional service. That's what's inside every box from Oak One Heart Jewelers on Metairie Road.
Hey folks, Bobby Hebert, Cajun Cannon here. The playoffs are here, and you can make every game feel like Game 7 on FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the NBA. Throughout the playoffs, all customers can place a no-sweat same-game parlay each week. You'll get up to $20 in free bets if you don't win. FanDuel has so many ways to play, and best of all, when you do win, you'll get paid faster than a fast break. If you're new to FanDuel, just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code ABEAR. That's HEBERT. Once again, that's promo code ABEAR. And if you already have an account, you're all set to bet, no sweat. Either way, you'll get up to $20 in free bets if your same game parlay during the playoffs doesn't win. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official partner of the NBA and WWL Radio.
21 plus and present in Louisiana. Permitted parishes only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max free bet $20 per week. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Okay, we're going live after this one. We have two callers. Les Uptown with the insurance question with Larry, who's a trucker on the interstate, and he has a question about wills.
It was April of 1970 when many Beatles fans were let down. Paul McCartney announced the Beatles were breaking up. Many fans blamed John Lennon's lover, Yoko Ono, for the breakup, but Lennon later said it was not Ono's fault.
She didn't split the Beatles because how could one girl split the Beatles?
Lennon said it was just time.
We don't want to be the crazy gang playing She Loves You when we're 50.
He added that if Yoko was responsible for the breakup,
please give her the credit for all the nice music that George made and Ringo made and Paul made and I've made since they broke up.
This moment in history brought to you by Metairie Bank and Zapardo's Family Market.
All things legal on WWL, AMFM.com and the Odyssey app. Connect with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico on the Oakland Heart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Before I'm going to finish my thought on the draft.
Okay.
Some inside baseball, inside football. You know, Coach Parcells used to tell now I'm saying this because Jeff Ireland worked for Coach Parcells. Mm-hmm. He used to tell the scouts, do not listen to anyone else as to their evaluation of a player. Just evaluate them based on what you see. Because if you hear someone else say something about a player, that's going to color how you actually think about them.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
And so a lot of times, you know, we got Mike Detillier in WWL, who's brilliant. You got Mel Kiper, you got brilliant draft analysts. But a lot of times they'll say, go by your own eyes. Because if you start talking to other scouts and other draft analysts, it might change your mind from what you really see. And I think that's what the Saints do. And that's why they get these diamonds in the rough. You know, the Alvin Kamaras and
they don't listen to anybody else.
I think they just go by their own instincts because a lot of times you can be talked out of a player by listening to someone else. And I don't think they do that. And so that's one of the reasons I think if you look at their draft, you know, Ryan Ramczyk, when they picked them, I'm like, what are they doing? And that's why I'm here on Sunday mornings and not on David Drive, is because, you know, a lot of things they did, I'm like, what are they doing? Why did they trade up for, you know, the defensive tackle who was out of Canada? Dave, whatever. But, you know, that's what they do. And that's why they draft so well. But that's just a little
interesting.
Yes. All right, let's go to phone lines. Let's go to Les Uptown. He's got an insurance question. Hey, Les, you on All Things Legal. What you got for us?
Okay. Well, what happened on our homeowners insurance for 2022, we got our invoice and it was the same as the previous year. However, they changed the deductible on named storms from 2% to 3% and told me at that time that didn't cost me anymore. When in actuality, that meant the deductible went up by $3,500. That's one issue. And then the second issue is a month after we paid the bill in full, they sent a statement with no explanation saying that we owed them $3,366.74 more dollars.
For what?
For the insurance policy 22 to 23. and we had already paid it in full with a copy from them with the statement showing that I paid it in full.
Did you buy it from an insurance agent or you buy it direct?
I have no idea.
In other words, a lot of times you
from
can buy
an insurance agency. I mean,
yeah, that's what your agent's for. And I think your agent, gets paid a commission for part of the premium, and he's supposed to service the policy for those type of issues. What I'd go back is to your agent who sold you the policy and say, look, I contracted to buy this policy under these terms and conditions. Yes, sir.
Wait, can I stop you real quick? I'm
Absolutely.
Sorry to interrupt. But what happened was I called them to ask them what the hell was going on. And the lady said, well, this is what you owe. And I said, well, there's no explanation, no nothing. And I said, if that's the case, I want a full refund immediately. Not tomorrow. I'm coming there right now. I want the check ready when I get there. So she's like, okay, well, let me talk to the manager and I'll get back to you. So the manager called like 3 minutes later and said that he would eat it. And it was their mistake, but that's what it should be. So my problem is that they're not forcing me to pay that, but I'm worried if I have to file a claim that they're not going to treat me right.
That,
you know what I mean?
That has nothing. That has no bearing. It has no. One has nothing. Those are two trains running on two different train tracks. The claims. Yeah. It has nothing to do with if you had to file a claim. They're not going to look in your file and say, oh, he was a problem child. We're going to not give a good adjustment. Those are two different and distinct processes. And one
was that a legal thing that they did?
No, I think they made a mistake and the agency made it right for you.
Yeah, I was worried I needed to call the insurance commissioner. I didn't know what to do.
Well, I think they made it right. Now, if they didn't make it right for you, then you would call the insurance agent commissioner. That may be a viable, alternative or way to address the situation. But I think the agent made a mistake. He decided to work something out with the insurance company, or he took on the mistake, and that was that. Now, I wouldn't spend a second worried about if you had to file a claim, they're going to treat your claim differently because of that issue. They'll treat it bad either way. No, I'm just kidding.
Right. Well, that going in.
You don't need that to happen. No, I'm just kidding. A lot of insurance claims have been settled and they've done a good job. A lot of them have done a very bad job, and we're dealing with it. In our firm, several hundred claims.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry about that. And your agent made a mistake. He made it right, which should be commended for that. We all make mistakes, and he did the right thing. But I would not worry about if you had to file a claim that you would be treated any different than any other claimant.
Okay.
All right, my man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Les. From Uptown. Avoid those potholes up there. All right, let's go to Larry. He's got a question. He's a trucker, probably on the interstate. Has a question regarding wills. Hey, Larry, what you got for us, brother? Larry's gone. So we'll.
No, I'm right here.
Here you go, Larry. Where are you right now? What part of the?
I lose the signal when I cross that bridge crossing into Mississippi.
Gotcha. All right, Larry, what you got for us, brother?
Florida. I haven't done it yet, but I'm in the process of making a will. Now, I've got children from another marriage, okay? I got 2 with this one that I'm with. The other 2 from the previous marriage, can they contest the will that I make out?
Are you from Louisiana?
No.
Oh, well.
I live here. I'm resided in Kenner right now.
Okay, yeah. So
yeah, okay. Right. Are your children over the age of 24?
Oh yeah, they're all grown adults.
Right. So if they are over the age of 24 and they're not physically disabled, then they're not forced heirs. So you technically don't have to leave anything to them in your will. I would just be real clear as to where you want your stuff to be left. Do you want it left to your wife? Do you want it left to your children? If you're leaving it to your wife and she predeceases you, where do you want it to go? I would just make sure you're real clear on all of those provisions.
So I can stipulate in the will, blah, 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 this person, that person are excluded from the will?
Well, you wouldn't really say they're excluded. You would just name, you would just make sure that in the will it says that that you have these children, you acknowledge them, and then then in another paragraph you would say where you're leaving. I leave and bequeath, and then who you're going to leave it to. You don't have to say they're not getting anything. You just make sure you give 100% to whoever you're naming your will.
Yeah, you just stipulate who you want to get it.
Right.
But you can do that.
Then once I do that, there's no shape or form that they can come back and say, I disagree with that, or you know what I'm talking about.
Well, an heir can always contest to make sure that the will followed the correct statutory form, but they can't contest it. You should have left me something.
If you go
that's my question.
Yeah, if you go to an attorney, they'll do the correct form,
right?
But they can't contest the substance of it. A lot of children.
Where's y'all located at?
We're in Metairie. Metairie and Mandeville. Yeah, just give us a call. We'd be glad to help you out with that.
All right, that'll work.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you much. That's a good question. If you're over 24, be nice to your parents.
That's right.
Because they can write you out their will.
And don't forget that forced heirship. I think our courts are expanding what it is, and I wouldn't be surprised if it just keeps expanding.
Right. If you have maybe an alcohol problem or a drug problem,
or even saying like mental health
issues that you would be a forced heir under those circumstances. But it's always interesting too when you have multiple
blended
kids,
families or
blended families, his, hers, and ours,
right.
And that type of situation. It takes a lot of thought.
Mm-hmm. It does.
And a lot of times when you raise those issues, it's something you just don't do right away. You have to talk it out a lot of times with the clients to figure out a way to do what to accomplish what they want to accomplish.
Right.
And we try to make the complex understandable. There you go. All right, let's go to a break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief time out.
The events shaping our world.
What Russia is doing is the continued brutalization of Ukraine.
Okay, I have Hugh Holding. I have Charlie, who is back from St. Bernard with the Usufruct question. We have Linda from the West Bank, who is having a question about contesting a credit card bill.
Increased funding for child care and health care services.
News doesn't stop, and neither do we. WWL. We all reach tipping points in life. The weight of a low-paying job, unpaid bills, a new family. You can't keep going. That's where My Computer Career can help. In just months, not years, they can help you start a new life as an IT pro, even with no prior experience. Impossible? You learn online from home, and My Computer Career offers lifetime career services.
We got Big Lou, who's next to last, and then a 30-second commercial will go live.
Take the free career evaluation. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Message and data rates may apply. Please don't text and drive.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just text radio to 64,000 to start learning a new language today. RADIO to 64,000.
Can you feel it? Every spring, Earth's gravity shifts as water wanders the planet in a magnificent mass-altering dance. So feel the shift and be pulled toward a new Cadillac. Find yourself attracted to dynamic sedans like the striking CT5. Or be drawn to luxurious SUVs like the 3-row XT6. Gravitate to greatness and visit your showroom today. Cadillac. Be iconic. Visit your Louisiana Coastal Cadillac dealer.
Security is knowing that your payment was processed, your check deposited, your business handled. At Home Bank, we offer the technology you need to have peace of mind wherever you are. So go on. Roam, wander, you have the freedom. With Home Bank's mobile app and account notifications, you'll never have to wonder what's happening with your money. We have the tech you expect and the service you deserve. For over 114 years, we've been good for business, good for life. Home Bank, member FDIC.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals,
even the bugs. I trust J&J to protect my home and family.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 50 years. We shield your home from termites, roaches, ants, mosquitoes, and other pests. J&J Exterminating is Louisiana's largest independently owned pest control company. We know what works in Louisiana's climate. Get the shield.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
Make this year stand out in a good way with the gift of breathtaking diamond jewelry from Oakland Heart. Choose from classics like diamond tennis bracelets and diamond stackable jewelry. There's a great work of art in every box from Oakland Heart on Metairie Road.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit
Charlie
funky,
left
and
the
you may
building
even have
again.
type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may
So
only
we have
cost you
Linda from the West
$200
Bank
a
and a
month.
credit card
Term
problem.
Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-568-2790. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-568-2790. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. Call 800-568-2790. 800-568-2790.
I'm Matt Spiegel, and I'm the host of the brand new podcast, Beat the Streak Daily. Every weekday this
Okay, we're
Major League
going live
season,
after
I will
this.
update the state of Beat the Streak. The rules are simple. Each day, pick one or two players you think will get a hit. And if they do, your streak continues.
Where's Linda from?
Sounds doable, right? But so far,
West
it's been
Bank.
impossible to win. And with millions of dollars on the line, no one has ever gotten to 56. Subscribe now to Beat the Streak Daily, wherever you get your podcasts, and play Beat the Streak for your chance to win $5.6 million.
Now, more All Things Legal. Underwritten by Nico and Sunseri Law Firm. All advice given and opinion shared are solely those of attorneys Albert Nico and Doug Sunseri. Back to WWL.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal, back on our Easter edition of All Things Legal. Let's go to the phone line. Let's go to Linda from the Best Bank, the West Bank. Got a credit card issue. Hey, Linda, what you got for us?
I'm okay. Can you hear me while I'm on speaker?
All right, I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. I had two credit cards, two different credit card companies, and years ago they gotten up to $3,000 and $5,000, and I agreed to one was a program called balance liquidation program, and one was a long-term program. So when I got my tax, I didn't realize I could do this, but when I got my tax return back, I said, I want to pay those off because now I'm on limited income. And then they told me that I couldn't do that because, like I said, one said I was on a balance liquidation program, and the other one was on long-term payment program where they averaged out how much interest would be and how much the payments would be monthly, and they got me down as low as they could possibly get for the payments. And I talked to customer service. Then I asked for their supervisor. Then I asked for their manager, and they all told me, no, you're not eligible because of these other programs that you agreed to. And now they're down to like $775, and one was like $400. So I was thinking with my tax return, then I could pay the thing off if they would take half, but they won't. They won't take anything. As a matter of fact, one said that I would owe another $2 or $3 more.
Did you offer to pay them the entire balance or a portion of it?
A portion. They said they would not settle.
Probably the reason why is because they already negotiated down their debt with the company that you hired to consolidate the debt. In other words, when you made this arrangement to pay off your loan long term, what I think happened was the company you hired negotiated the debt down and for monthly payments to do that. So I think what they're taking the position that we've already negotiated down once, we're not going to do it again. I'm not saying right or wrong. That's the way it appears to be.
Yeah, they said that was the bank's decision. They didn't have anything to do with it because I don't remember. I didn't hire anybody to negotiate a lower price.
Okay, I don't know. Now, what happens a lot of times is these debts are sold to third parties. In other words, if you they'll buy.
It's been sold 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and so when that happens, it's up to whoever owns the debt whether they want to modify it or not. And I think they're taking the position that we think we're going to get it anyway, so we don't want to negotiate.
So how do I find out who owns the debt?
Well, whoever you're paying it to.
Yeah, that's the credit card company.
Well, okay. Well, then I guess they still own it. I mean, they're not compelled to negotiate the debt.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a voluntary response to your request. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But they're not mandated by law to do that. It's a negotiation. It's a voluntary negotiation.
All right, yeah, there's no way to get around that.
Well, I mean, you're trying. I mean,
I'm trying, but they wouldn't do it.
Well, when you negotiate a resolution, it's a voluntary process where both parties have to agree. And so a settlement is voluntary on both parties. It's not mandatory, and that's what you're dealing with right now. They have not elected not to agree to your request.
Okay.
All right. I mean, maybe if you sometimes if you give them a compelling reason why, like saying, hey, I got the money now, I may not have it in the future. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah, I did explain the situation where, COVID came around, I got laid off, was on unemployment ran out, and now I got the tax refund, so I wanted to pay them off, and they just said flat out no.
Yeah. So, it's a voluntary process. You can't compel them to do that.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like you tried everything you could. You could try again. Maybe you get a different customer service rep who may agree to it. Who knows?
Yeah, I tried that.
Yeah,
I think I tried that last year when the tax refund came in, but this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thought you might know something.
No, you're doing the right thing. Sometimes you execute the right.
I think they even said when I did this, this was all over the phone. I didn't sign any contracts.
Okay,
but it's probably one of those things where
I got you.
Where you're on computers is if you check this box, you agree. So there must have been something verbally that I agreed to.
Yeah.
Oh, but I was wondering if I checked if I went in for bankruptcy.
Now, well, you probably I can't assess that because I don't know the rest of your situation, but bankruptcy is the last resort.
Okay.
All right, I can say that. All right. Well, thanks for the call. Wish you best of luck. Sometimes you call the right play and you still get a not so good result.
That's right.
So you can ask any football coach that. All right. Thanks for the call. One thing I did want to announce. We hadn't talked about hurricane claims for the first time in 6 months, for the most part.
Right.
There's another insurance company that was placed into receivership.
Oh, that's right.
A Lighthouse Insurance Company. So if you have a Lighthouse policy, your claims are going to be handled now by the Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association. The claims are going to probably be drawn out somewhat. And then you're going to lose your right for penalties and attorney's fees in bad faith, because if an insurance company goes down that's an admitted carrier with the state of Louisiana and it's handled by Louisiana and it's backed up by Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, there's no penalties for bad faith. So, which, a lot of times, especially claims we have, people come to us because the insurance companies aren't responding. So a lot of these are bad faith claims. And when you have that bad faith action hammer over their head, they'll either, a lot of times they look at the claim a little differently and maybe not nickel and dime you on certain issues, or sometimes they occasionally pay out a little extra,
right,
in absence of going to trial. But with the Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, you do not have that enforcement mechanism over them or the law.
Are they settling things right now?
They're just starting to wrap their mind around these claims. For example, you might have 8,000 claims that now are being shifted from insurance company to the adjusters for LIGA.
Mm-hmm.
It takes them a little while to get through all the claims because you got to read it basically from cover to cover.
Right.
So it's going to take time. I tell the people whose claims are with LIGA, settle in. A lot of them get SBA loans to do their repairs, and then when the insurance money comes in, they'll pay off the SBA loans. But you're going to have to make an alternative arrangement. Louisiana Insurance Guarantee Association, it takes some time to get these claims in place. I tell people it's like being on a 50-lane highway that goes down to 2 lanes.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a traffic backup.
You're bottlenecked.
So that's right, bottlenecked. And so there you so that's something that you have to so it's unfortunate. But a lot of these smaller insurance companies, they came in to compete, but they were not, capitalized to handle a loss like Ida. Right. And it is, it is what it is. All right, let's go to our final break. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. We'll be right back after this brief timeout.
When our Saints hit the field, they're prepared. They've got a plan. They've got a playbook. What's your retirement playbook? Whether you're already retired or closing in on retirement, the Retirement Playbook can help you get ready. Get your free copy of the Retirement Playbook right now. Visit saintsretirementplaybook.com. That's saintsretirementplaybook.com. Brought to you by Presley Wealth Management, the official wealth management.
We're going to have 8 minutes till the top of the hour, end of the show.
Is the one to see. Call 475-2323.
LA 121 12674. Offices in Baton Rouge.
Call 475-2323.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel. Me llamo Sean.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language. Like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right. And they're designed by real language teachers, so you learn how to have real-world conversations, things you'll actually use.
3 weeks. It's incredible. After 3 weeks, I'm on vacation in Paris, having a conversation in French.
There's all kinds of ways to learn. Use Babbel's podcasts or games or videos. You can even join live classes with a language teacher.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Babbel. Évidemment. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Some people bring joy wherever they go. Some whenever they go. Mark Twain found humor all around. Never argue with a fool. Onlookers may not be able to tell the difference. Humor. Pass it on from passiton.com.
All Things Legal with Doug Sunseri and Albert Nico on WWL and Odyssey Station. Connect now on the Oak Hart Jewelers Talk and Text line, 504-260-1870.
Hey, we're back. Doug Sunseri, Michelle Demarest Sunseri, All Things Legal. And so I think we'll just wrap it up with light talk, happy talk.
Happy talk?
Happy talk.
Okay, what's happy talk?
Well, you're going to be a grandparent.
I am going to be a grandparent. We're going to be grandparents.
That's right. So we're figuring out what your name's going to be.
I know.
So that's tough.
That is tough.
Yeah. So I'm going with Coach.
You're going with Coach.
I'm going with Coach. I like Coach. And your mom's coming with, she's been married
since October.
I do have Frank on the phone.
We have Frank. But I guess we'll find out if your mom's going to start a family.
Second family.
That would make the books if she did.
That would make the books.
In fact, it might be.
I hope she's listening.
One of her friends are. I love it. It would be the second coming if she did. All right. All right. I love my mother-in-law. All right. Let's go to Frank. Hey, Frank, you're on All Things Legal.
Yeah, I got a question. My son passed away without a will.
Yes.
And what procedures do I need to go through to settle his estate?
Okay.
Was he married, or did he have children?
Nope, no children. He wasn't married. He was living with us.
He was living with you. Did he have?
He had one brother.
Did he own any property?
Just an automobile.
Just an automobile. I I wouldn't. You can transfer the automobile, or you can do a small succession. I don't really think you have to open up an estate.
Yeah, I think you could go to DMV and possibly sign an affidavit of death and heirship and sell the car. If there's no other assets, you wouldn't need to open up an estate.
No.
Well, he had a certificate of deposits, and he also had a IRA and a 401k.
Okay, so the IRA and the 401k are going to be governed by the beneficiary statement. So do you know who he left as his beneficiary for both of those?
Nobody.
He didn't leave.
He didn't leave one.
Goes to the estate.
Okay, so it's going to go to the estate. So his brother is going to be his heir, with his parents having a usufruct over the property.
Okay.
So I would go. In what parish did he die?
Not Jefferson Parish.
Okay, I think you're going to have to open a succession.
Yeah, you are.
Because since there's not a self-directed beneficiary for the 401k, the beneficiary company is going to require you to open a succession, and then they will basically deposit the proceeds into the succession.
Right. And so you could open it. You could be appointed executor as an interested party, and then you would open it, and I would probably open it by administration to be able to list all the assets, get all the information of what he owned.
Yeah. So what you're probably going to have to do is hire a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
The lawyer is going to draw up paperwork for notifying the court that your son had died, to open up an estate, and then you're going to have someone appointed to be the point person or the succession representative of the estate.
Mm-hmm.
And then that you start opening it up. And there's some other documentation you have to file, which is routine, which whoever you'd go to
is going to know.
Some affidavits and some verifications and some oaths. And then you're going to have that whoever's appointed has to deal with the 401k company, and they could go ahead and have the proceeds transferred into the estate, for not distribution. It would have to be held, like for it's interesting, since he doesn't have a will, you and your wife would be entitled to the interest on the IRA or any of the, but your son would be the naked owner, and and so he would keep the principal, or he would be entitled to the principal when you and your wife are no longer around.
Well, I could just
you could
give
donate
it all
to
to
him.
him.
You could donate it to him if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You can
And then,
yeah.
And then his bank account and his CD, that would be the same.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Oh, everything's the same. Okay.
So you go see a lawyer, and it's a routine succession, nothing out of the ordinary. It's just routine paperwork.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good luck.
All right. So that's the sad thing when that doesn't happen as often. When you have a parent who does that. So, all right. Well, Frank, good. Happy Easter. We got about 3 or 4 minutes. LSU baseball, they lost. They got swept by Arkansas.
They lost yesterday too.
Yeah, they lost. We were listening to it on the way to radio.
I know, but I didn't ever know that.
I was listening, but LSU was 4-5 2 weeks ago when they lost the series to Auburn, and then I was thinking if they split the next two series against State and Arkansas, we'd be okay. But then we swept Mississippi State, and I'm like, got greedy and saying, we can make a little run here.
Mm-hmm.
But they got swept by Arkansas. So, but if you look at it retrospectively, it's okay that they split those 3 series 3-3. They play Missouri next week, which is probably the least competitive team in the SEC. So they at home, so they should be able to pick up 2 or 3.
What's the chances of
Omaha?
Yeah.
To be determined. I still have it penciled in for those weeks. And today is the anniversary of Apollo 13 when they said, Houston, we have a problem.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It was 51 years ago.
Wow.
And that was one of the great moments of American ingenuity as far as to get those, that was one of the greatest when working together, ingenuity, Just, it was one of the great, well, I guess, recovers in the history of the United States.
I'm surprised you didn't say, do you remember that? Because you always say, do you remember that?
Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, I do. I mean, I was glued to the TV. I was captivated by it. I mean, that was a, that the whole world sort of was behind this. Even the Russians were, like very wanting him to come back and be rescued.
Right.
It was just amazing. I mean, there's no way they could have came back. Some of the things they did to get him back is just amazing. They had Fred Hayes lives in Mississippi, and Zach Shriek, before he went back to coaching, did a 1-hour interview with Fred Hayes. And these were when men were men. These men were not worried about their student loans being forgiven. These were men who were men, or eating avocados or whatever they do.
I knew we were going to
days.
go on all of that.
Give me my avocado.
Let me see
But
that soapbox we're on.
Yeah, no, but it was amazing. And I met Fred 11 years ago, and he's a hero. I mean, he is a true. I mean, this is not football players and all that stuff. I mean, they're to be admired, but they're not heroes like Fred Hayes was.
Right.
And he was the one who had the prostate infection. He was very sick when they were trying to return him. Very, very sick. Lost maybe 20, 25 pounds.
Wow.
And what he did, and just listening to him, he's just a good old country boy, very humble. But man, that was like a half an hour I listened to him. Well, I heard it first time in person, then with Zach. He was a true American hero. And we should be emulating to be Fred Hayeses in this country.
There you go.
Because those are the true heroes. But all right, well, listeners, thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me.
And we had everybody have a blessed Easter. This is the big holiday. So just enjoy your families, enjoy the time together. And we live in the greatest country in the world, and we just celebrate that also. So we'll see you next week on All Things Legal. So have a great Easter. See you next week.
The News Talk Sports Powerhouse. WWL New Orleans, WWL FM and HD1 Kenner New Orleans, and Odyssey.
Yeah, I just dismantle everything now after every show. It's just easier.
Indeed.com.
I'm Linda Kenyon in Washington. Ukraine's president says Ukraine must keep the Donbass.
I think we're sometimes back at the studio. We're not online for whatever reason, and I think that. Let's see.
That cat is so scared of noise. Your cat is very sensitive to noise.